Yes, you are tuned into the Male Champion episode. Yes, it is your MCM in the building, a legend, Havoc from Mobb Deep, the infamous Havoc. Thank you for gracing your presence here on Play Your Cards Right, Havoc. How are you?
I'm doing great. Good morning. Good morning. Grand rising to you.
Yes, Grand Rising. First of all, thank you for everyone for tuning in. I want everyone to know that he definitely created a milestone here at Play Your Cards Right, and we appreciate your humility, but we're definitely going to get into the legendary status that you exemplify in the hip hop culture.
Thank you.
All right, so let's go down memory lane a bit. And before we do that, Play Your Cards Right is good for breaking the ice and doing a game before we actually engage in conversation. So because I was so excited, I forgot to present the game. So you ready?
Yes, let's go.
All right, let's go. All right, so shout out to the Black entrepreneurs. And one of the things you told me before we went live is you root and you advocate for the entrepreneurs, hence
Absolutely.
your presence.
Absolutely.
So we are going to play a game called Lyrically Correct.
Lyrically correct. Okay, let's do it.
Shout out to Jules and the whole Lyrically Correct team. I know he's going to be ecstatic once he sees you actually playing his game. All right, so we're going to get into a few questions. And obviously, I say a line, you finish the line.
Okay.
And then the object of the game is to get it lyrically correct.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to shuffle the cards. I'm not cheating. I'm not choosing a hip hop. I'm not choosing R&B. I'm just going to choose a card. And let's start off with, what did Biggie sew onto his shirts?
The polo horse, right? The polo patch or something.
Did he say that in the lyric?
Yeah, I believe he did. Yeah.
All right. So tigers and alligators.
The La Tigre. Yeah. My bad. Okay. Lacrosse. My bad. Okay, you got me on that one.
All right, so that was we warming up. Don't worry. Okay. We're warming up. And where can you meet Lloyd? The R&B singer Lloyd. Where can you meet Lloyd?
Where can you meet Lloyd?
Yes.
You know, I would have to say you could meet him in ATL. That's where he's from.
You can meet him on the south side. You can meet Lloyd. You were right though by saying ATL, on the south side of ATL.
Okay. All right. Okay.
All right. Let me look for some hip. We'll do two more.
It's all good. I love this.
You like this? All right.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a good one. This is your okay. Khalees can teach you how her milkshakes brings all the boys to the yard, but she'll have to do what?
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard.
Yeah, right. Look better than yours. Yeah, right. I could teach you, but
I could teach you, but you got to give her yours. See, I didn't know that one. I can teach you. I can teach you. Yeah.
But I have to charge.
Okay, all right, you got me.
I'm gonna love this.
You got me.
No, you good. Because listen, if I didn't have the answers, I wouldn't get half of these. Ooh.
Okay.
You ready for the challenge? Or no. Well, this is the last one. Why doesn't Andre 3000's baby mess around?
Why doesn't Andre 3000's baby
My baby don't mess around? Because
I know the song is called Hey Ya. I know that. I know the song is called Hey Ya.
You get a point. Because she loves him so.
Right. Okay. Got me.
And we're gonna tell Jules and the Lyrically Correct team to make these less tricky. Okay.
They are tough questions. They are. I ain't gonna lie.
They are tough questions. So, oh my God. So that broke the ice a little bit. That got us laughing and engaging, right?
No doubt. I love it.
All right, so let's go down memory lane with the legend Havoc that I can't believe is on my screen right now. Let's begin with the Queensbridge Legacy. How did your neighborhood contribute to your artistry and your life experiences? Let's talk about Queensbridge.
Yeah, the way that my neighborhood Queensbridge contributed to, you know, my artistry, and the major contributing factor to everything I did moving forward that was positive.
That's dope. That's so awesome. And like throughout my research, I've discovered that you were inspired by like the Roxanne Shantae's and the Marley Marls, like that, that origin of hip hop.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what I mean? Growing up in Queensbridge, and when you start coming of age and you start realizing who's from around your way, and you know, this person and that person, Marley Marl, Roxanne Shante, Craig G, you know, the Juice Crew and all that, Marley Marl, you know, you can't help but to be proud of where you from. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, you grow up in the hood, you know, you in a dire situation, you realize we not rich or nothing like that, and you know, we here, but to in the midst of all of that, to be proud of being there because of the people that made it, you know, is everything for a kid.
Right, they gave you something to aspire to be. Like it was tangible.
Right, absolutely, it made it totally tangible.
So the other day, I think it clicked for me. I was like the late 70s and 80s, we contribute to the origin of hip hop. But watching the videos of the late great, rest in peace, Prodigy and you and Mobb Deep, it like I'm like, this is that the essence? Can we describe the 90s as the essence of hip hop?
You know, I you know, to me, you know what I'm saying, if you ask me the question, the essence of hip hop, I would have to say started coming, you know, in the 80s, you know what I mean? Like, you know, before even we came, you know what I mean? Because, you know, hip hop was a little bit more conscious, you know what I mean? It was just finding its way, you know what I mean? They was breaking new grounds. And then, you know, here we come, you know, in our class, in our era, you know, with our style of hip hop and what we was doing, Biggie, Nas, you know, Tribe, Wu-Tang, you know, and all of that.
Woo, heavy hitters.
Yeah, you know, crazy, you know, Jay-Z, everybody, you know what I'm saying, was coming through. You know, Smith and Wesson, MOP, all of those people, you know, a lot more that deserve to be in the conversation. But
right,
you know, I believe the 80s was definitely that era that was like, you know, essential for hip hop coming through.
So is there a word that you would describe for that 90s era? Like you have the new millennials who they don't understand your contribution, Havoc. They don't.
If I had one word to describe the 90s, I you know, I would have to say fun. You know what I mean? Another word I would say is wild. You know what I mean? It was definitely wild. You know, but you know, all in all, it was beautiful.
Awesome. So that's a perfect segue. My brother, Tony, he also went to Art and Design High School. Wow. So going down memory lane, you going to Art and Design High School where you met Prodigy. I hear a lot of stories about how y'all met, but do you remember your first conversation or interaction with Prodigy? And can you describe it to us? Like that first time you guys connected?
I don't remember it per se, like the first time we had a conversation. It was so long ago.
Right.
I think we kind of like eased into a friendship because we had mutual friends, you know what I mean? So we kind of like eased into a friendship. We had the same interests, you know what I'm saying? We both wanted to rap and become rappers. So that kind of really like guided our friendship at that time, you know? So we became friends, really close friends, used to get up, you know, on the weekends outside of school, you know, hang out, do crazy things, drink mad bottles of St. Ives and stuff like that. But most importantly, we was always moving towards our goals. So meeting Prodigy, it was fun because we used to just do mad mischievous teenager things, you know what I mean, back when we first met.
Yes, you guys were young and in your prime. So, and to my knowledge, the inspiration behind Mobb's Deep name is self-explanatory, right?
Pretty much, you know, yeah. The name came from, it was an expression that we used to use when we used to describe other crews, and or describe us when we went out, like maybe to the movie theaters or to the Deuce to hang out, it's 42nd Street, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. We used to be like, oh man, we was Mobb Deep, like, you know what I mean? Like, we always used to say that. So when we was looking for another name to name our group, because that wasn't our new name, or from the beginning, I said, yo, let's use Mobb Deep, because we always deep when we roll, like, you know what I mean? So it kind of stuck, and we just kept it and went with that.
Genius. So how many members were officially in Mobb Deep? Or did it just begin with you and Prodigy?
Yeah, so with the name Mobb Deep, you would think that there was like a whole bunch of members in the group, but no, that wasn't the case. It was just me and Prodigy, you know what I mean? And along the way, Noy kind of became a third unofficial member, because he was on a lot of our, major records. But it was just two in Mobb Deep, Prodigy and Havoc.
And it's true that Prodigy denied a deal with Jive because of your chemistry was that tight?
Yeah. So, Prodigy had, when I met him, he already had a production deal with Jive Records, and, he said that in order to do what we was doing, he kind of turned down what, you know what I mean? And that's my brother for that, you know what I mean? So for him to do that, that meant a lot for the group, you know what I mean? He believed in what we was doing more than, just some production deal that Jive was offering him. He saw that going nowhere, and, the Mobb Deep thing going, where it could go.
But that speaks to your genuine friendship, and also that speaks to how much he believed in you and trusted in you, because are you considered like a triple threat in the hip hop game with all the skills you possess aside from MCing?
Thank you. I definitely look, that definitely speaks to the friendship that me and him had. Him turning down that offer from Jive Records, that goes to show you, how invested he was into what we was doing, what I mean? And determined to make it. And I wasn't always a producer, but I went to On Design, so I was creative. We both was creative, and once I got a little taste of producing, I just never looked back.
I know it's the infamous Shook Ones intro that everybody is like stoked over. Can you tell some of the listeners and the new supporters who may not be too privy about your legacy, how that became that beat for the Shook Ones?
Yeah, well, Shook Ones, I was in the crib, you know what I'm saying, one day just working on tracks, mom's complaining, talking about turn the music down. So, I went to the kitchen to go light an L real fast, and, the stove came on. So I recorded that, and then I said, yo, this might sound ill for an intro. So I put it on to the intro, and everybody just went crazy, and Shook Ones was born.
And I still get chills when I hear that. And I'm born in 87, so I was a little young. That's my brother's era, but I get chills hearing that today. So yeah, let's talk more about your production, that aspect of Havoc. So let's hone in on you and your production. How many people have you produced music for? Because you've worked with heavy hitters, and you're already a heavy hitter. So
thank you. I produced for quite a few people. Biggie, Lil Kim, Foxy Brown, Nas, Method Man, Jay-Z, P. Diddy, Eminem, 50 Cent, Kanye,
the whole industry.
Jadakiss, Styles P, Lloyd Banks, just mad people. Just mad people.
So who would you say, is it safe to say like you had a favorite? Like this is where we have real combos here and playing cards, right? Would you say you had not even a favorite, but somebody like a memorable moment that sticks out with all of those people you produce music for?
The one that I say sticks out the most is like probably one of the most current ones, working with Kanye, because he's like still, even though he's so big at what he does, he's still like a student of the game. You know what I mean? And his love for the art is crazy. So I like producing, for him and with him, because he always sparks a a thoughtful conversation.
And how recent was that collaboration?
Right when it was like last year, March, when COVID was about to take off, we was working together. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah.
That was damn near yesterday.
Right.
Wow, wow. Is this something that we've heard?
Nah, it didn't come out yet, but
Okay.
hopefully it'll be out soon.
And
He like to hold things in the stash, you know what I'm saying?
I can imagine. This is an exclusive from Havoc. Play your cards right. Coming soon. So how do you feel about artist development? Did Mobb Deep engage in artist development in the 90s, or was it organic? Because we know today that doesn't exist.
Right.
Like you have to have followers and a brand and a name and be associated,
Right. We really didn't have artist development. When they tried to put all this artist development on us, it didn't work. You know what I mean? Because we wanted to be how we wanted to be. They used to want to bring stylists around, or makeup people and all of that. The stylists, we was like, they could. I mean, though they meant well, you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. But at that time, they wasn't really capturing. They wasn't capturing the essence of what we was trying to do. The raw,
the gritty.
Right. We knew what we wanted to wear. You know what I mean. But artist development, for some artists, I do think it's kind of important. You know what I mean? Because some artists might be really great and good, but just not polished yet. Like, to a certain level where they probably need to be, and they probably could take a little bit of advice and they could take off. Some artists are naturals at it and they don't need it. So, I mean, I think sometimes it cuts both ways. But I don't like when, labels, they kind of dismiss an artist because if they don't have a million followers yet and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Labels don't really. Yeah, labels like to just jump on the bandwagon of an artist when he's already popping. And if that's the case, the artist don't need the label. So it's just,
right. Talk about it, Havoc. Talk about it. Then we can put our destiny in our own hands and get this money if that's the case.
Yeah, if I get myself a million followers on my own, you know what I mean? Why am I going through a third party? Because now the money is getting cut up. The money can come directly to me. So you know what time it is.
Right. And now we could talk partnership instead.
Exactly. There you go. You know what I'm saying? Let's partner up, give you a 10% cut. I take 90 and we just keep the wheels turning like that.
But if I can be honest, this is why my hat's off to you, King, because you didn't allow my amount of likes, my amount of followers to determine whether you was going to engage in this conversation. I didn't have to speak through anybody. Shout out to Toya for having Mama Havoc on. That's how we connected. But no doubt. You solid for that. And I will forever have so much love and respect for you and support you and
thank you.
Repost you a million times.
Thank you.
Because I really appreciate this opportunity and I can't express it.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Appreciate you. Thank you.
So let's get into Shook One. The media mogul, Charlamagne the God, whom you've had several conversations with. Yeah. He has conversations about mental health, which was taboo once upon a time, specifically in our community.
Right.
How did you feel when you seen like he named his second novel after a piece of artwork that you developed?
Right. It was mixed emotions. You know what I mean? On one hand, you feel praised. And then on the other hand, you're like, wait a minute, he uses my term. But, look, I'm not a hater. You know what I'm saying? I'm not one of those people like, I'm like, yo, he used it for something positive. So I you know what I mean? So I'm good all the way around with it, and I know Charlamagne, you know what I'm saying? He was mad cool every time I met him, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I appreciate it. He never came at me sideways. So right. I appreciate him on behalf of the culture, you know what I mean? Like he's doing what he's doing. He's talking his truth and and talking a lot of positivity to it as well.
Awesome. I love that. And now is the time to give you your flowers, right? We've lost a few legends in the past few weeks, including DMX, Black Rob, Shock G. You know, we have the other people that we are fighting for justice for, the Breonna Taylors, the Ma'Khia Bryants, Sean Wrights, Ahmaud Arbery's, like the list goes on. But specifically, I wanted to give you your flowers and and thank you for the opportunity to do so.
Thank you.
You survived.
I heard they tased a 7-year-old girl recently. My mother was just telling me about yesterday. I was like, I mean, just this morning, my mother told me, and I said, nah. I mean, I didn't hear about that yet, but you know, if that's true, it's like, come on, man. Like, you tasing a 7-year-old girl, bro. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep. Yeah, and it's disgusting.
Street justice.
You said, as repeated?
I ain't gonna repeat it, but you know what I mean. That's not cool. You know what I'm saying? It's like a 7-year-old girl, man. Like, for real.
Yeah. There's this word that's been thrown around, and I got an epiphany. I think when George Floyd was lynched publicly, you hear dehumanization. They dehumanize us. They dehumanize us. That's because they don't view us as humans. So no matter our gender, our age, they like hunt us down like dogs. So prayers to that family and to the rest of the families who are suffering and fighting for justice. But I wanted to give you your flowers because you survived an era where there was this huge like East Coast and West Coast beef. So I wanted to know how did that affect your mental health? And did it affect like your mental health? It shows social anxiety at any capacity.
I mean, you know what I mean? I already suffered from social anxiety already anyway, you know what I mean? I don't like to be around a lot of people and, you know what I'm saying, or whatever have you, but, you know, talking about the East Coast, West Coast beef, you know, that was really unfortunate, you know what I mean? It instilled even more paranoia, you know what I'm saying? That a person would already have going to someplace new, like, you know what I mean? The West Coast was new for me already. It was like, you know, so for those two sides to be beefing and for the media to perpetuate it,
right?
It was just really unfortunate. And and for a long time, it made me think differently about the West Coast. You know what I mean? When the whole time those are just our brothers and sisters over there, just with a little bit of different culture going on. You know, you understand what I'm saying? All it takes is for us to come together to understand each other. And I think the West Coast, East Coast beef was not real, wasn't true. It was just two different artists from two separate coasts that had differences, and they wanted to capitalize on it by calling it an East Coast, West Coast thing. And that was not the case, because all the East Coast and the West Coast artists all got along. And if you look at pictures prior to that, you see all of them in pictures together with each other all the time. So it was just retarded that the media capitalized off of that.
Yeah, so they sensationalized it, but
absolutely,
you survived it, and we're giving you your flowers.
Thank you.
Did any industry like highs and lows affect any of your personal relationships? And if so, how would you advise the younger generation and the younger artists coming up to deal with challenges when it comes to the industry and media and different people intervening?
The highs and the lows of the industry for me, I don't think it affected any of my personal relationships. It probably affected me as a person more. You know what I'm saying? My highs and lows. But I'm a believer in, it's not how you fall, it's how you get up. You know what I mean? I never let anything get me down. You know what I mean? Not for too long, at least. You know what I mean? I look at things that's negative and turn it into a positive. And the industry is just one of those things that you have to navigate wisely, and some things you got to take with a grain of salt, and you can't let the industry dictate who you are, because you are going to be who you are regardless.
Right. Stay true to yourself. Be authentic.
Absolutely. And you got to be strong.
Love it. So what do you think there was a defining moment where you realized you and Prodigy were going to create a legacy together?
I would say from the first time that we realized that we went gold, you know what I mean, with the Infamous album. That was like a big deal. I mean, like, to me, in my mind at the time, it was like almost impossible to go gold. Like, I mean, I just want to do good, have my niggas play my records on the block,
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that be that. But to be told that, yo, you sold 500,000 records, I'm like, get the fuck out of here, part of my French. But I'm like, oh wow, like for real, like, oh, okay. And then the next album we made was Hell on Earth, and that went gold. I said, all right, you know what? We definitely creating something
let's keep this pattern going.
Right. As long as we can, you know what I mean? Let's keep this going. And that's how we realized that, yeah, we doing something special. You know what I mean? And we didn't never let our heads get too big, you know what I mean? Because it don't have to be that way, but we was just happy that it happened.
So I hear a lot of artists saying that keep your business in order, right? Because the talent is 10% and the business is 90%. Yeah. Did you guys experience any flaws when it came to the business, and how many labels were you associated with in your career?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at first we was just mainly associated with Loud Records. Before that was 4th and Broadway. Loud kind of folded. Then we went off to about 2 or 3 more record companies after that. But that is true. Your business, you do need to keep it intact. And what I will say, to my colleagues out there that might watch, this, interview right now, is that we have to school the younger generation or tell them something about their finances, you know what I mean? And keeping that intact. Because the jury and all of that is fine. It's all good. The cause and all of that is fine and all of that. But the number one thing you have to do is make sure you pay your taxes. You know what I'm saying? Don't trust these business managers or accountants. Always mind your finances. Because what I noticed is that when you riding high and flying high, you really not paying attention to what's going in your bank account and what's coming out until the party slows down and you start looking. And then the next thing you know, you looked at somebody just siphoned off $1 million from you, or somebody wasn't doing the job that they were supposed to be doing, leaving you in a tax debt, and things just get crazy. And that's one thing that never goes away. The IRS, they don't go away. So
that's a gem.
Word. So definitely be mindful of your finances. And yeah, the ups and downs I've had quite a few of those, going in, because we went in young, you know what I mean? We didn't have no mentors, but at a certain point, you can't keep using those as crutches. You just have to be like, okay, I effed up. What do I do? How do I get myself out of it? Because you can't blame nobody after that once you are aware of it. So just be mindful of your finances.
Yeah, so you figured it out and you learned from your experiences. You have to figure it out.
Absolutely. But it would have been nice, if Russell Simmons or Sean Puffy Combs would have had some kind of, classes to introduce freshmen in, to be like, okay, write that down, write that down. You know what I mean? So, just paying it, on forward. Like, you know what I'm saying? Right. They made it, and I'm sure they had so I think, as a culture, we need to get together and create some courses for the artists coming in. So, be like, yo, look, here's a course for, our brothers and sisters that's free of charge, so they can look and know how to do what they do. Because, when you coming in the game, a lot of people are fortunate to have mentors around, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so, and all they know how to do is have fun and spend money. You know what I'm saying? They're not thinking about responsibility. They doing what you're supposed to do as a young person is, have fun. But, us as elder statesmen need to, pull their coat a little bit, and so they don't get into that trouble.
Yeah, and your thought process it goes along with like the talks of a hip hop union.
Absolutely, you know what I mean? And yo, I'm glad you brought that up. Definitely there needs to be a hip hop union, but there is a union now. It might not be a hip hop union, but there is a union that musicians can join.
Oh, really?
It's called Sag Aftra Sag. After Sag. Yeah, you could sign up to that. You get, boom, it's an insurance, you know what I mean? They cover your dental, your medical, all of that. You just got to pay your dues, and it's for musicians, and you just got to pay your dues. But it is sort of a union for artists.
So is that newly established? Because I was always under the impression, okay, hip hop is saying we need a union. Who pays for medical? Is that all out of pocket?
Oh, nah, it's been there since the 90s. I've been a member of it since the 90s. You know what I mean?
Oh, see, they need to get up on it then.
Yeah, you just have to pay your dues. And, probably people won't even mention it to you when you come in the game, because all they want to do is just suck money away from you anyway.
Wow.
So it ain't like they're going to be like, oh, yo, join Aftra real fast. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They're not going to tell you that. But believe me when I tell you, them Hollywood actors, they on Aftra. Sag Aftra, they people tell them, but when it comes to us, for some reason, everybody want to be silent and and wait until everything is all messed up, and they be like, yo, we need a union. But there is a union there. It's not hip hop, but it's for musicians.
But it's for artists. For artists.
Yeah, for artists. But we should start a union for hip hop artists. Just for us. You know what I mean? And everybody pay their dues and they sign into it. But that's another conversation.
Right, but this is a legendary convo because Havoc said to get your priorities together, hip hop. Let's get it together. Thank you. No, that was truly, truly, truly insightful. So let's switch gears a little bit. I always ask my artists who grace their presence here, who are their top 5? But I want to ask you, who are your top 5 female hip hop artists?
My top 5 female artists?
Yeah.
Queen Latifah, Roxanne Shante, Lil Kim, Foxy Brown, and MC Lyte.
Ooh, that was tough. That was tough. Let's talk about that experience with you and Lil Kim, that classic Quiet Storm.
Yeah.
Did she record that with you? Did she send the vocals? Like, what was the session like?
Yeah, she was writing in this. She wrote that in the studio. She wrote that in the studio. You know what I mean? I came in. She was writing a verse. She was like, "Yo, what up, Hab?" I was like, "Okay." I seen her with the yellow pad. She was writing the lyrics down, and she went into the booth and dropped that historic verse. You know what I mean? Hot damn ho, here we go again. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo,
y'all chemistry was crazy in that video.
I mean, you couldn't ask for a better collab record, right? Like when you set out to do these collab records, you hope that they turn out like that. You know what I mean? And that one did, and I'm forever thankful for that.
Wow, that's dope. So can we kill the rumors that Lil Kim didn't necessarily write everything, because you said you visually seen her writing that crazy historic verse?
Yeah. I don't know, what she did anywhere else or anything like that. Lil Kim is a great artist, so I never would question anything that she does. But I know that day in the studio, I did see her writing her lyrics.
Lil Kim is the queen. We were rapping hardcore before. We weren't even supposed to be rapping those lyrics, but we knew it. Shout out to Queen B.
Yes.
Shout out to Queen B. So what's in your playlist, Havoc? Like if I sit in the car with you and we take a ride, like what are you playing?
All right, I'm playing Bobby Brown, SWV, Mobb Deep, Jay-Z, Nas, Wu-Tang, and then a lot of the new stuff that's out there right now. A lot.
Yeah, who do you like that's new? Let's hear that.
I like the Baby, Little Baby,
all the babies.
Yeah, all the babies. Havoc love the babies. Cardi B. For sure. It's a lot of new ones. I just don't know their names, but they
How you feel about Khaled's new album that dropped?
Oh,
with the like, Sorry Not Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, like always, you know what I'm saying? He always drops some fire on you, you know what I mean? And he got the dream collabs, you know what I mean? Getting Nas and Jay-Z on a record is not a small feat, you know what I mean? That's a very tall order. So I think they could be silent on the record and it'll be a hit. You know what I'm saying? But you know,
that's a bag.
I believe it was a dope record.
Yes. Nice. Have you collaborated with Khaled?
I never did, but you know, that's on my wish list.
Come on, Khaled. We gotta get this legend on here. Let's go,
it's
Khaled. Another
it's coming.
one.
It's coming. And another one. And another one. It's coming.
So what can we expect from you, Havoc? What you got coming?
Definitely more music, you know what I mean? Working with a few you know, artists that you never heard of, brand new artists, stuff like that. And some known artists, you know, things of that nature, and just, you know, everything, man, scoring films and everything that you could imagine, you know what I'm saying, I'll be doing. Nice. But definitely you'll be hearing some music from me soon in the future.
And the ladies have been in my DMs like, does Havoc have children? Is he single? Is he taken? What's going on with Havoc?
I definitely have children, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, you know, definitely involved. So, you know what I mean? I'm taking it easy, you know what I'm saying? And you know.
Yeah. I love it. You taking it easy?
Yeah.
Is there a documentary in the works? We've seen Wu-Tang on Hulu.
Yeah.
What's going on with this Mobb Deep documentary? I'm here for it. I'm ready for it.
I mean, you know, I've been approached by several people for the documentary. Hopefully, Hopefully, you know, it'll be in the works, but it's not something that I could do by myself. I have to, you know, incorporate the Prodigy's estate,
the family.
So once we hash all of that out, you know, hopefully there'll be a documentary.
Are you particular? Do you have anyone in mind? Like, this is the actor who's going to play me.
You know, I don't have anybody in particular in mind, but I do remember getting a message from somebody that was was in The Wire, one of the actors from The Wire.
Okay.
And he hit me up. He's like, yo, if y'all do a movie, I gotta play you, and my man's gonna play P. So I forget their names, but yeah, I would pick them. One day I'll know their names. I'll shoot it at you, and you can just tell everybody who it was.
I have someone in mind. I don't know his name either, and he's controversial, but he's talented. The one who played Eazy-E. But I guess we would need somebody new, right? Fresh. But the one who played Eazy-E in NWA.
Yeah.
I think his name is Jason or...
Nah, he's ill. That's the one that was in Mudbound, right?
Yes, he was in Mudbound. Jason Mitchell.
All right, there you go. I'll be knowing.
Remember, holla at me if anything. Havoc, like Destiny playing cards, right? Said it. Oh my gosh. I mean, this was such a beautiful, wonderful conversation. I'm stoked. And do you want to say anything in closing? You know, tell the people where they can find you, all of that good stuff. You have merch. I know you have merch out as well.
Yeah, I got the anniversary merch out. You can find me on Instagram at Mobb Deep Havoc. Same thing for Twitter, Mobb Deep Havoc. On Facebook, you know, Havoc, Kiwamuchi the Havoc, like under my real name, all of that. Go get the merch. Look out for the new projects coming on the way. And thank you for this lovely interview. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And lastly, if someone wanted to get next to you, if someone wanted to get production by Havoc or artist development from you, or just kick it with you in the studio, I know a few people who make music. I write music. What could they do?
Okay.
To get next to you?
I mean, they could hit up my I have contact info, the email on my Instagram. They can hit that. You know what I'm saying? My peoples, they check that most of the time for me, that email. And yeah. And then, you know, we could get a collab going.
Thank you. It's been so lovely. Let your next move be your best move.
Yes, indeed.
And we love you, Havoc.
Thank you.